story begins at a river near a forest where some families are enjoying their weekend. Among them, we see Sarah and her little son Josh, who are there to enjoy their day. But suddenly, Sarah sees a helicopter flying above, which puts her under stress and she starts having old vision. This clearly shows that Sarah used to be an ex-German soldier. She was the only soldier who survived during the war. Since then, she suffers from PTSD, which means post-traumatic stress disorder, and she gets panic attacks very quickly. At that moment, a boy playing nearby accidentally bumps into Sarah. Because of the stress, Sarah starts attacking the boy. But as soon as she sees her son Josh, she comes back to her senses and says sorry to the boy. After that, the scene changes to a few years later. Now Josh is 6 years old and Sarah wakes him up and leaves for the American consulate office. But on the way, she receives a voice message from a journalist. In the message, the journalist tells her, "I'm sending you a video. If you recognize anyone in the video, please let me know." He also says, "This is about what happened to you during the war in Afghanistan. I know you don't want to talk about it, but this information is very important for us." Then Sarah plays the video, but suddenly she realizes that her son Josh is not with her. She becomes scared and starts looking around. For some time, she cannot find Josh, but soon she sees Josh again. Then Sarah goes with Josh to the American consulate office. She was going there to get a visa for herself and Josh because she was going to America for a job. When Sarah's turn comes, her eyes go toward the camera in the office. Then she enters the consulate office, where she locks all her things in a locker. After that, Sarah goes to get the token for herself and Josh. At the desk, the officer sitting there asks Josh how he is doing, but Josh doesn't give any answer. Then Josh and Sarah sit in the waiting area, waiting for their turn. But after many hours pass, Josh starts bothering Sarah because he has gotten tired of waiting for 3 hours and now he wants to play. Then Sarah goes to the girl sitting at the reception and asks her, "We've been waiting for a long time. Do you have a place where kids can play?" The girl at the reception tells Sarah about the playroom. Sarah then takes Josh toward the playroom. Josh starts playing in the playroom and Sarah steps out to get some coffee. But just then, their turn gets announced. Sarah sees this and quickly goes to the playroom to get Josh. But when she looks inside, she can't see Josh there. So Sarah starts looking for her son here and there, but she cannot find Josh anywhere. She begins to panic again. Suddenly, 2 guards come there and ask her, "Is there any problem, ma'am?" Then Sarah tells them everything and says, "My son is missing. I looked everywhere but didn't find him, except behind those doors. Can you please open those doors?" But the guards ignore what she says and tell her, "We don't have permission to open them." Then Sarah becomes suspicious and says, "I want to speak to your supervisor." The guards take her to the waiting room. After a short while, the regional security officer arrives and introduces himself as Eric King. Along with him, Sergeant Donovan also arrived. Eric asks Sarah what the problem is. Sarah explains the whole situation, that her son is missing and she can't find him anywhere. Then Eric starts showing her all the rooms one by one, but Josh is not found anywhere. Eric tells Sarah, "There's no need to panic. This is a very secure place. No one can go in or out without being noticed." Meanwhile, an announcement is made at the reception saying, "A boy named Josh is missing. If anyone finds him, please bring him here immediately." After that, all the guards begin searching for him everywhere, but Josh is still not found. Then Eric asks Sarah, "Where else could he possibly go?" Sarah says, "Maybe Josh went outside." Eric replies, "This building has no other exits. If Josh had gone out, we would have already known by now." Sarah then points toward a specific door and tells Eric, "I saw a boy handing a bag to a woman and she went out through that door. That man kept staring at me." Sarah demands that the door be opened. Eric replies, "That's a high security area. No one is allowed to go in there." Just then, Sergeant Donovan comes and whispers something in Eric's ear. Sarah notices and asks, "Is everything all right?" Then Eric says, "Can we please go sit somewhere quiet and talk privately?" They go into an office where Eric looks at Sarah's documents and asks her, "When were you in Afghanistan?" Sarah gives him all the correct answers, but she keeps asking again and again about her son. Then the sergeant tells her, "You applied for a visa for both yourself and your son, but when you came to the consulate office today, you were alone. There was no one with you." Sarah becomes shocked. The sergeant shows her the check-in log, and Josh's name is not there. Sarah says, "There must be some mistake. I spoke to the man at the desk. He saw us, and you also saw Josh, didn't you?" But Sergeant Donovan says, "I didn't see any child. You came alone this morning." Sarah gets angry and demands to see the CCTV footage. Sergeant Donovan says, "I already watched the footage. It shows that you arrived alone. There was no child with you." Sarah then says she wants to talk to the German police. Eric arranges the call and lets her speak to them. Sarah asks the German police for help, but the German police tell her, "The consulate is an extraterritorial area. We are not allowed to enter. It's considered American territory, and German police can't go there. Hearing this, Sarah goes into panic again. Sarah tries to run away from there, but Eric quickly catches her and tells her, "The German police will arrive at the gate in 10 minutes to pick you up." Eric explains to Sarah that she should control her anger and cooperate with the people at the office. Hearing this, Sarah stops. Eric then tells the sergeant to stay with her so that she doesn't try to escape again. But after some time, the sergeant receives a call. He locks Sarah inside a room and leaves. Then Sarah calls her mom and tells her, "Josh has been kidnapped by someone, and I want you to get help from outside." But even her mother doesn't believe her. Her mother asks her, "Are you taking your medicine on time?" Hearing this, Sarah gets angry and hangs up the phone. Then she starts planning how to escape. She begins searching the room for something that could help her open the door. Luckily, she finds a pin, and with its help, she opens the door lock. She changes her appearance so that no one will recognize her, and picks up a file from the room to look more natural and avoid suspicion. She goes straight to the playroom again, where she finds Josh's toy. This makes her realize that Josh really was with her earlier. Then she heads toward the same door where she had seen the woman go out earlier. When she reaches there, she tries to open the door, but it doesn't open. So she climbs out through a window, climbs up the wall of the consulate, and makes it to the roof. From there, she jumps into another section of the building and breaks a glass window to enter inside. Inside the building, Sarah starts searching everywhere for her son, but she can't find Josh anywhere. Then she goes up to the second floor, where she begins checking the rooms. But all the rooms are locked, except for one room that has some items placed outside. Sarah quickly opens that door and goes inside. But suddenly a girl attacks her, trying to hurt her. But Sarah acts fast, pushes the girl down, and covers her mouth so that no one hears her. She tells the girl to be quiet, and the girl stays silent. Once they both calm down, Sarah asks the girl, "Have you seen a 6-year-old boy here with curly hair?" The girl replies, "What boy? I haven't seen any child." Sarah tells her, "My son is 6 years old and he's missing." The girl says, "You should talk to the security officer." But Sarah responds, "I believe someone from the consulate office has kidnapped Josh." Sarah checks the girl's bag and finds a lot of gold inside. Then Sarah asks her, "Who are you?" But the girl doesn't give any answer. Just then, they hear a knock at the door from outside. The girl goes to open it, but Sarah tells her, "Don't tell anyone that I'm inside." We then see that it's a man who has come to give the girl some item. When the man asks her, "Are you okay?" the girl replies, "No," which scares Sarah. But luckily, the girl gets angry at the man and says, "I asked you to bring me fruits, and you didn't bring them?" Hearing that, Sarah feels relieved that things outside are still under control. When the girl comes back inside with the stuff, she asks Sarah, "What boy were you talking about?" Sarah tells her, "My son disappeared from the playroom. I think someone kidnapped him. Did you see him anywhere?" The girl replies, "No." Hearing this, Sarah starts to leave, but the girl stops her and says, "I'll help you find your son. I've been here for 2 months and I know this place really well. But in return, you'll have to help me escape too." Then we see Eric showing Sarah's file to the consul general. After reading the file, the consul general understands that Sarah used to be a highly skilled and smart soldier. Eric says, "She's not a danger to us." But the consul general replies, "We can't let a special forces soldier just disappear like this in public." He orders Eric to find Sarah. On the other side in the room, we see Sarah and the girl. The girl tells Sarah her name is Irina. She plays a song loudly on her laptop. Sarah asks her to turn it off, but Irina says, "No. This way no one outside can hear our conversation." Then both of them start making a plan to escape. Irina tells Sarah all the details about the building. After hearing everything, Sarah decides that they should go to the warehouse first, because she suspects that the woman she saw going out earlier might have kidnapped Josh. But to go there, they'll need access cards. Then on the way, Sarah sneaks up behind a guard and knocks him out. Both of them quickly hide the guard before anyone sees him. Sarah takes the access card from the guard. Then the two of them begin searching the building again for Josh. But suddenly, Sarah feels like someone is coming, and she tells Irina to hide. This time, it's another guard. At that moment, Sarah starts to feel like the guards are coming with guns to kill her. On the other side, she begins seeing flashbacks from the war, which makes her panic. But luckily, the guards don't see them, and both Sarah and Irina continue looking for Josh. While searching, they finally reach the warehouse, but still can't find Josh there. Inside the warehouse, they find a room. Sarah and Irina go in. There, Sarah finds a list of the consulate office trucks, the ones that go in and out. She figures out that the next truck hasn't left yet, which means Josh is still somewhere inside the consulate. As they're about to leave the room, Sarah notices a logo on a cabinet, the same logo that was on the bag the boy was handing to the woman. Sarah quickly opens that cabinet and finds a bag. When she opens it, she finds drugs inside. Sarah now believes the owner of this bag might be involved in Josh's kidnapping. Then both of them go back to Irina's room. There, Sarah tells Irina, I can't help you escape right now. If we both try to get out now, it'll create a big scene in the consulate, and that will make it harder to find Josh. Hearing this, Irina gets very angry and tells Sarah, maybe your son was never even here. Maybe you're just making this all up. Sarah then shows her Josh's toy to prove he was real. Irina replies, a toy doesn't prove anything. Right now, you're acting like a total psycho. Their argument is still going on when suddenly there's another knock at the door. Sarah quickly hides, and Irina runs to open the door. But this time, two guards enter the room and try to catch Irina. She panics and starts fighting back. The fight becomes intense. The guards beat Sarah up badly, and she gets seriously injured. But Sarah has no other choice. She fights back and manages to knock the guards unconscious. Just as she's about to escape, Sergeant Donovan suddenly appears and points a gun at her. From behind, Eric comes and injects Sarah with something. When Sarah wakes up, Eric and the consul general are standing near her. Sarah talks to the general about her son, Josh. The general replies, your son was never here. I've seen the CCTV footage. Your son doesn't appear in it. Then they show Sarah the CCTV footage. Sarah's shocked. It shows her entering the consulate alone. Josh isn't seen anywhere. The officials tell her, we know the war left you under a lot of stress. You're sick. That's why you're imagining things. Maybe something happened to Josh elsewhere, but in your stress, you've forgotten it. Hearing this, Sarah becomes extremely distressed, and Eric and the general leave her there. A while later, we see Irina coming back. She tries to free Sarah, telling her, you were telling the truth. They've hidden all the evidence. Even the guards you fought. There's definitely something wrong going on in this consulate. But Sarah says, no, I've just been imagining things. They told me there is no guest named Irina registered in this office. Then Irina tells Sarah, when you first met me, I didn't trust you. That's why I gave you a fake name. My real name is Kira Volkova. Sarah doesn't believe her. She still feels like maybe she's imagining everything. To prove herself, Irina hurts her own hand and says, look, I'm real. I'm not your imagination. Then Irina explains, I'm the daughter of a politician. My father was a very powerful man, but he was involved in a lot of money laundering. When his party lost the election and he lost power, people from his own party had him killed. All the evidence against them is in a USB drive, which I have. That's why they want to kill me. I need to escape and meet people from the opposition party who can help me. My mother is already with them, but the people here in this office won't let me leave. They keep making excuses to hold me here. After hearing this, Sarah starts to believe again that everything is real. Then both of them climb out of the room through the window to avoid being seen on the surveillance camera. They walk through the crowd and nobody recognizes them. They make it to a conference room. There, Irina uses the consulate's internet to post a message, hoping that the person who owns the duffel bag, the drug bag, will come to get it. A little while later, they get a message from Jumer, the bag's owner, who says he wants to meet. They decide to meet in the cafeteria because nobody will suspect anything there. When they meet the man who owns the drugs, he promises, as soon as I get my bag, I'll help you find your son. But Sarah doesn't trust him. She feels like he's lying. He doesn't know anything about Josh, so she tells him, help me find my son. You have high-level access in this consulate. I need a floor plan and an access card so I can go anywhere in this building. He replies, meet me in the men's washroom in 20 minutes. While waiting, Sarah looks around the cafeteria and sees Eric sitting in the corner with his daughter. But he's suddenly called away to the surveillance room because the camera signals have gone out. In a rush, he forgets his daughter's walkie-talkie on the table. In the men's bathroom, Jumer tells Sarah, I've messed with the server. The cameras will be off for 1 hour. Then he gives her a floor map and an access card. In exchange, they give him back the drug bag, but Jumer says he still has to tell his bosses how the access card was stolen. So, to make it look real, Sarah punches him and acts like she snatched the card by force. That way, nobody will suspect him. After that, Sarah and Irina sneak into Sergeant Donovan's office. There, Sarah uses the computer to check her own details. They find files showing that everything about Sarah coming to the consulate was already planned. It was not an accident. Someone set it up. Then they start checking the background of the consulate's senior staff, and they find out that Eric is a former military officer. He fought in Afghanistan, and he also worked as a regional specialist in Islamabad, Pakistan. This means the video Sarah received on her phone was actually trying to tell her something important. She immediately calls the journalist who sent it to her. The journalist tells her, Eric is a corrupt specialist. Every time someone accuses him, he finds a way to escape the charges. My news source says Eric was also responsible for the attack in Afghanistan, the same one where 8 soldiers were killed. One of them was your husband. While Sarah is still talking on the phone, Irina sees Sergeant Donovan coming toward his office. So they quickly download a clearer screenshot from the video, one that shows Eric standing with a known terrorist. But before they can hide it, Sergeant arrives. Sarah immediately attacks him to get away. They run. Sergeant chases them. Eventually, they reach a room with only one exit. They climb up through a small opening to the roof. From the roof, Irina gets a clearer image of the Islamabad incident, and Sarah remembers seeing the same man with Eric during the war in Afghanistan, someone who was supposed to be dead. Meanwhile, Eric finds out that Sarah has accessed her emails and files, so he heads straight to the warehouse to stop her. At the same time, Sarah tells Irina, "You can escape if you hide in the back of a truck, but we need to distract the armed guards first." Sarah gives Irina a final hug and then runs toward the vans, drawing the guards' attention. But as soon as she reaches the van, a soldier appears and opens fire, causing the van to flip over. Sarah manages to escape into the ventilation system, but security guards catch her again. She fights back and keeps moving forward, even though soldiers are posted everywhere to kill her. She kills a security guard blocking her path. But when she pauses to catch her breath, Eric suddenly attacks her. He beats her badly, and they both fall into a swimming pool. Eric tries to drown her, but Sarah escapes his grip. Eric follows, but Sarah quickly finds a gun and points it at him. She demands to know, "Where is my son?" Eric finally admits, "Yes, I have your son. He's alive." Sarah asks why he kidnapped him. She tells him, "I know about your conspiracy with that Islamabad terrorist." In a moment of pain and desperation, she shoots Eric and leaves him behind. She changes her clothes to blend in with the crowd. When she sees her watch, she realizes she has only 4 minutes before the surveillance system comes back online. So Sarah quickly builds a small explosive device, and it causes a blast on one of the floors. Meanwhile, Sergeant reaches Eric, but Eric gets a call from the consul general. She tells him to follow military protocol. Eric sends his men to find and kill Sarah. All civilians are evacuated, and Sarah finally finds Eric's daughter, Eileen. She shows Aylin the walkie-talkie Eric had left behind, so Eileen believes that her father sent Sarah to protect her. Sarah takes Aylin to a safe room, then calls Eric and tells him where they are. Eric reaches the other side of the safe room, and Sarah says, "Take your daughter, but you have to confess your crimes first." She explains, "This room is made of reinforced steel. It can only be opened from inside. If you try to blast it, your daughter could die. If you try to drill through it, it will take too long, and the oxygen will run out. If you want to see your daughter alive, bring me my son." The consul general tries to negotiate with Sarah. "Please let the girl go," but Sarah refuses. She says, "You don't know what Eric is hiding." Hours pass, and then the consul returns to talk to Sarah again. Sarah tells her, "I want to talk to Eric." Soon after, Eric gets on the call. Sarah tells him, "I'll let your daughter go, but you have to come in here alone." Eric agrees. As they prepare for the exchange, Sarah tells him one last thing. "I don't care if I lose my life. I just want my son back." Eric quickly shuts off the intercom, so no one can hear their conversation from the outside. He looks straight at Sarah and says, "You weren't supposed to make it this far." Then he tells her everything. The job offer in America, the reason she got assigned to the consulate, it was all a setup. He admits that once she killed those 2 assassins, their entire plan fell apart. That's why he had to kidnap her son and erase the security footage to make her look mentally unstable. She was the perfect target, someone they could blame for Irina's death and also silence forever about what happened in Afghanistan. Sarah realizes now that Eric always planned to kill her and cover it up as an emotional breakdown. That way, the truth about Irina, the political corruption, and her husband's death would die with her. Suddenly, Eric pulls out his gun and shoots Sarah. Then he shoots himself in the leg and puts the gun in her hand, so it would look like Sarah attacked first. Sarah is bleeding badly. Her vision starts to blur. She begins to lose consciousness. In her mind, she sees memories from Afghanistan, the last mission, her husband, the ambush where everyone died except her. But Sarah doesn't give up. With every ounce of strength she has left, she drags herself to the safe room. And just before collapsing, she hits play on the recording of Eric's confession. The truth plays out loud through the building's speakers. Now everyone knows the truth. The sergeant runs away. Eric is caught and arrested. The safe room opens, and doctors rush to help Sarah. Meanwhile, a rescue team finds her son Josh and brings him back safely. When Sarah finally wakes up in the hospital, the first thing she sees is her son sitting next to her, safe and alive. She pulls him into a hug with tears in her eyes. Days later, we see Sarah on a phone call with Irina, who is now finally free. Sarah says Eric's in jail. It's all over now. She hangs up the call, picks up her passport, and walks out of her apartment with her son. She's going back to work stronger than ever. As they walk outside, a helicopter flies overhead. Sarah looks up, but this time, she doesn't panic. She's calm and control, and she smiles and keeps walking toward the airport with her son. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video,